Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us tonight at the State Highway 16 public meeting. I am Chad Gardner with Half Associates, and our team is working with TxDOT to study State Highway 16, also known as Bandera Road, from I-410 to Loop 1604. During tonight's presentation, I will provide you with an overview of TxDOT's feasibility study. Also, Jay Loudon with Workshop will provide you with an overview of the City of San Antonio's corridor plan study on Bandera Road. I would like to note that tonight's presentation is intended to be a brief overview only. If you have questions or feedback after the presentation, please visit our staff in the open house portion of the public meeting. They are available to receive your feedback and discuss the exhibits and information that has been provided tonight. As previously mentioned, TxDOT's feasibility study focuses on the segment of Bandera Road between I-410 and Loop 1604. This 6.5-mile study corridor passes through the cities of Leon Valley and San Antonio in Bexar County, Texas. Depending on the location, existing Bandera Road typically has 2 to 3 lanes in each direction. Additionally, existing Bandera Road does not provide continuous sidewalks or bicycle accommodations throughout the limits of the study corridor. The main goals of the public meeting is to share information with the public regarding the Bandera Road studies and to receive feedback from the public. Please note that TxDOT's study is still in its initial phase. No proposed concepts have been developed to date as part of the current study. However, information has been provided tonight regarding the existing conditions assessment. After the presentation, we encourage you to visit the open house portion of the meeting and review the exhibits and information that have been provided. Receiving your feedback is necessary to ensure that we have a comprehensive understanding of the existing issues along Bandera Road. This information will be utilized for the future study phases, which will include development of proposed concepts. Staff is available to answer questions and provide assistance. Before diving into the results of the preliminary existing conditions assessment, let's look at the history of this corridor. Bandera Road was originally constructed as a 2-lane roadway in the 1920s and widened to a 4-lane roadway in the 1970s. During the 80s and 90s, Bandera Road was improved to 6 lanes south of Gilboa Road. Various intersection and signal improvements were completed in the 90s and 2000s. Additionally, during this time frame, the roadway was restriped to 6 lanes at Loop 1604, and the State Highway 16 direct connecting ramps with I-410 were constructed. The last major improvement opened earlier this year when construction of the Bandera Road Loop 1604 displaced left turn interchange was completed. Additionally, since the 1990s, there have been at least 7 studies performed on Bandera Road that analyze different options to reduce congestion and improve operations along the corridor. TxDOT, the Texas Transportation Institute, the Alamo Regional Mobility Authority, and the City of Leon Valley have all performed studies on the project corridor. In the spring of 2018, Leon Valley Mayor Chris Riley and San Antonio Councilwoman Ana Sandoval requested that TxDOT initiate the current Bandera Road feasibility study to analyze options to alleviate the growing congestion along the corridor. Additionally, the City of San Antonio dedicated funding to initiate the city's Bandera Road corridor plan study, which focuses on land use, economic development, sustainability, and multimodal improvements. The 2 studies are being developed concurrently with a collaborative approach to ensure analysis, feedback, and recommendations are shared. Representatives from both TxDOT and San Antonio studies are present tonight to share information and receive your feedback. Mayor Riley and Councilwoman Sandoval also co-chair the Bandera Road Task Force, which serves as a steering committee for both corridor studies. Task Force representatives include local and state elected officials, city engineers and planners, VIA, Northside ISD, and TxDOT. First, we will focus on TxDOT's State Highway 16 Bandera Road feasibility study. The goal of TxDOT's Bandera Road feasibility study are to improve mobility, safety, and connectivity while reducing congestion. The study also seeks to provide continuous bicycle and pedestrian accommodations throughout the corridor while facilitating future economic development. TxDOT's feasibility study major focus areas include an existing conditions assessment, development of proposed urban design and roadway concepts, design schematic of the preferred alternative, environmental studies, and community outreach. Information from TxDOT's preliminary existing conditions assessment is available tonight at this public meeting. To obtain early public input, TxDOT conducted a survey that was available online and at community outreach events between February 12th and May 31st of 2019. The survey received 885 participants. When asked to specify priorities for improving Bandera Road, participants identified improving congestion as the #1 priority, followed by improving safety. The third highest listed priority was to add sidewalks and improve pedestrian crossings. A majority of respondents stated that their primary reason for traveling the corridor was for shopping and errands, followed by commuting to and from home or to and from work. TxDOT also hosted multiple work groups in 2019 to further engage the community. TxDOT's technical work group, which consists of local agency staff, has met 3 times to date. Additionally, a planning team shared by TxDOT and the City of San Antonio has met twice. This planning team includes community, business, and neighborhood representatives. Prior to developing proposed improvement concepts, it is critical that TxDOT understand the existing conditions on Bandera Road. The first phase of TxDOT's feasibility study focuses on analysis of collected data to identify the unique characteristics of this corridor. These efforts include mapping existing utilities and an existing right-of-way retracement to verify the limits of public right-of-way used for Bandera Road. An extensive traffic data collection plan was executed, and a detailed existing conditions traffic model was developed and calibrated to simulate traffic movements and operations along the corridor. The existing conditions assessment also includes identifying environmental constraints, infrastructure, analyzing crash data, and determining existing mobility and local access needs. TxDOT collected traffic count data along with video and field observations to better understand existing queuing and operations. The data shows that existing Bandera Road carries on average from just under 40,000 to more than 75,000 vehicles per day, depending on location. Historical growth data and the Alamo Area Metropolitan Planning Organization's projected year 2045 demographics and travel demand model were then utilized to forecast average daily traffic out to the design year of 2047. TxDOT also gathered new origin and destination traffic data not available during previous studies to better understand major travel patterns along Bandera Road and the surrounding region. To do this, TxDOT analyzed data collected from Bluetooth devices, location-based services data from smartphone applications, and the AAMPO travel demand model. All 3 data sets produce similar results in terms of travel patterns. TxDOT analyzed available crash data from the years 2014 to 2018. Depending on the location, the analysis shows that the crash rate on Bandera Road is 4 to 7 times higher than the statewide average for similar roadways. Additionally, the analysis showed most of the crashes occur near intersections. The major findings from the origin destination studies, traffic projections, and crash data analysis are provided tonight. If you have not already done so, we encourage you to review this data after the presentation and provide any comments or any feedback you may have. As part of the existing conditions assessment, the location of existing driveways and median openings were identified. This information allows the project team to analyze the number of conflict points currently present along the project corridor. The number of signalized intersections and their spacing was also analyzed to determine operational efficiency along with local street connectivity. As previously mentioned, the existing facility does not provide continuous bicycle or pedestrian accommodations. At this time, Jay Loudon will provide more information about the City of San Antonio corridor study.
Thank you, Chad, and welcome everyone. I am Jay Loudon with Workshop, and our team is working with the City of San Antonio to develop the State Highway 16 corridor plan. As previously mentioned, we have the benefit on this project of being able to work collaboratively across 2 agencies and 2 design teams to create a complete picture of not just how traffic works on Bandera Road, but also some wider perspective: market analysis, zoning, land use, walking and biking infrastructure, transit, and related issues. The City of San Antonio's Bandera Road Corridor Plan is analyzing all of those issues in order to make recommendations for future land use and corridor network improvements to address quality of life in the corridor. As part of that, we are doing in-depth analyses of retail and multifamily housing markets, multimodal transportation, land use and zoning, and the aesthetic and natural features on and along the corridor. I mentioned that we're looking at walking and biking. That applies not just to Bandera Road itself, but also to the areas around it, including neighborhoods, commercial corridors, hike and bike trails, and general connectivity to the rest of the city. This graphic shows what anyone who has tried to walk along Bandera Road knows already. Not only is the sidewalk system on Bandera Road very piecemeal and tough to navigate, but also there aren't good connections back into neighborhoods along intersecting streets. This is a problem for bus riders too, because almost everyone who rides the bus gets there by walking or biking. So when we analyze transit, we look at what the stops are like. Do they have shelter? Do they have sidewalks connecting to them, or are they isolated like islands? This image shows that situation. Green is a stop with full sidewalk coverage, and red is a stop without sidewalks. This graphic is mostly red. It's very difficult to walk or ride a bike to bus stops along Bandera Road. These issues affect the choices that people make, which directly affects congestion on Bandera Road. It can be very hard in some situations to build our way out of congestion. More traffic lanes only ease problems temporarily. Instead, we need to address many different aspects of the situation and give people choice about how they travel. That's what multimodal means, making sure it's as easy and safe to walk, bike, or bus as it is to get in a car. Connected neighborhoods go naturally with multimodal corridors. Neighborhoods need to have connections to Bandera Road that are safe and pleasant, with crosswalks, sidewalks, trees, and lighting. We don't expect that doing all of that will magically transform how everyone moves around. But our number one priority with this project is to reduce congestion, and we need to use multiple strategies to do that. This is one of them. We also need to understand what's happening from a land use perspective. You can see here that the vast majority of the land is zoned for residential uses. Most of it is single-family homes. There's quite a bit of commercial, too, about 3/4 of which is retail space. We're finding that the retail market is near saturation. Especially in the South, rental rates are dropping and vacancy is rising. As we project into the future, more retail may not make the most sense unless other factors change. Residential is different, though. There, demand continues, and rent growth has matched San Antonio at large. When new housing is built, it's filled up quickly. We are also interested in where development is most likely to occur. One thing to look at is the ratio of property improvements to land value. That is, are the buildings worth a lot in relation to the land or not? Where buildings are worth more, people tend to renovate rather than demolish and rebuild. That has implications for density. When land values are rising, as they generally are in San Antonio right now, people rebuild at higher densities. This graphic shows the parcels with less valuable improvements in lighter colors and more valuable improvements in darker colors. Higher value developments are being built in the north. In the south, buildings tend to be older and less valuable, meaning that those properties may be likelier targets for redevelopment. All of these considerations play into projections about how traffic volumes and patterns may change in the future. Now, Chad will provide you with more information about how to stay involved on these studies.
Thank you, Jay. As Jay stated, we have a unique opportunity to collaborate studies and develop a comprehensive solution for the existing traffic issues on Bandera Road. On this slide, you'll see TxDOT's feasibility study schedule on top in orange and the City of San Antonio's corridor plan schedule on bottom in green. Both projects are concluding the first phase of their studies, which consists of the existing conditions assessment. The City of San Antonio's corridor plan will complete their evaluation of land use, urban design, and multimodal concepts by mid-2020. After that, the city's corridor plan will document their analysis and recommendations, which will be coordinated with stakeholders and city officials. Approval of City of San Antonio's corridor plan is anticipated by the end of 2020. TxDOT's feasibility study has a longer overall time frame. The evaluation of proposed roadway concepts is anticipated to last through the end of 2020, which allows for recommendations from the city's corridor plan to be considered by TxDOT during concept development. After a preferred roadway concept is identified, TxDOT will develop a detailed design schematic and environmental studies. This final study phase is anticipated to begin in early 2021 and conclude by the end of 2022. Both projects will utilize extensive community outreach throughout the studies. To successfully develop a comprehensive solution for Bandera Road, frequent input from local agencies and the public is needed. Where possible, both TxDOT and City of San Antonio will utilize a collaborative community outreach plan to inform the community and receive feedback. TxDOT will continue the public involvement process through numerous outreach tools, including surveys, project website updates, pop-up events, forums, informational videos, newsletters, and stakeholder meetings. Other community outreach opportunities will be provided through multiple work groups comprised by community and agency representatives. Additionally, TxDOT and City of San Antonio project staff will continue to meet on a regular basis with the Bandera Road Task Force, which is comprised by elected officials, planners, and directors. Your feedback is critical to our studies. Comment forms are available at the comment table. These forms provide you the opportunity to express your thoughts and interest in the projects. Written comments can be submitted tonight in the available comment box. They can also be mailed or emailed by December 31st, 2019 to the addresses provided on this slide. If you prefer to not submit a written comment, a court reporter is available tonight to transcribe your verbal comments so that they may be included as part of the meeting record. This concludes tonight's presentation. If you have questions or feedback after the presentation, please visit our staff in the open house portion of the public meeting. They are available to answer questions and discuss the exhibits and information that has been provided. Also, if you have not yet had an opportunity to review the public meeting exhibits, please follow the signage to the open house. After tonight's meeting, visit TxDOT.gov and search keywords SH16 Bandera Road for more information and the opportunity to participate in the online public meeting, which will have the same information presented tonight. We sincerely appreciate your participation, and we look forward to working together to find a solution for improving the Bandera Road corridor.